Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It's me, it's Emmy Kirshner. I lost the little light thing somewhere in my house. It's disappeared. So anyways, I look orange because the lighting in my house stinks. Um, Anyways, super excited because I'm gonna have Denice Whiteley join me in just a few minutes. Hey Sam, how are you? And we're going to be talking about a little bit about what she does because I think it's one of the most important investments that you can possibly make in your business. And there she is. Hold on. Let's see if we can get Denice on. Anyways, I think I'm adding you, Denice, or at least I'm trying to. Hey, there you are.
It worked the first time. Yay.
I know. That's so exciting.
Move my camera over.
I was just saying that we're going to talk a little bit about what you do today because I think that, and it's at least the path I've chosen, in that having support is one of the best investments that you can make in your business. And I talk to my clients about being in your zone of genius. Hey, Felicia, how are you? So before we get started and dive in, why don't you share with everybody a little bit about what you do in case they didn't see your video last week on how to launch a product?
So my name's Denice Whiteley. My website is denicewhiteley.com. What I do, I started out as a general virtual assistant, and then because I have such a techie background, I have a degree in computer science, I became an operations manager. So I helped people set up the back end of their business. I kind of organized it, helped them do that. And now what I'm pivoting to is just doing product launches because that's all tech, and I love just setting up all the tech for product launches.
Yeah, which is awesome. And in my experience, having somebody else do that is so much better. So share with us like some of like what you do both with the product launch and as a virtual assistant, and then why that's so important.
So for people that are just getting started out, for instance, or even if you've reached success and you're ready to hire a virtual assistant, one of the best things you can do is start to write down your processes. So for like, even we're talking about like the foundations of your business. So like when you're posting on social media, for instance, like how often you post, what channels you post on, what your guidelines are for posting on your business. So you can share articles or share, content that you've written or produce like a video or whatever, but the guidelines around that. So if there's certain articles you share and you want to make sure when you outsource this, that the person sharing those articles or finding those articles for you picks the same articles, for instance. Or if they're going to post a blog for you and your website's WordPress, then write the steps for posting a blog. And if you don't want to post your own blog on WordPress, have them write the steps for how they posted the blog. So, and then should just write all those steps down. So even if that virtual assistant says, leaves for some reason, then the next person can just hop in. So that's how I got started, like just doing all that, because I could figure out the tech stuff. I could figure out when you post an image in WordPress, for instance, you should put words behind it because that brings you up in search. It's a search thing. So I figured out all those little tips and tricks. And that's what, to do that for my clients in their business, it really helped them. And then I ended up doing it even for a product launch. So you're talking about like blog posts, you're talking about social media, but any other things you do, like proposals, any contracts you send out to new clients, that can all be systematized. It can be a friend of mine, I was really surprised. I've had it up in, I have a Word document, so I just have to plug and play a few different things, and I PDF it and put it up on HelloSign to get it signed when I get a new client. So all those things, it's the foundation of your business. But then when you're ready to, like if you've achieved success and you're ready to launch like an online course or a membership site, for instance, you can, the first time you set it up, all the tech pieces are being set up, but you can also, one of my clients who launches 5 times a year, and she has 3 different programs, but we launch 5 times. We have everything laid out in the project management system. So all we have to do is copy the template up and then change all the dates, and we know exactly what to do. And I am detailed enough that I put on all the tech steps because there's little steps that I'll forget. Like you have to refresh Facebook. like we'll change the date for the post that'll go on Facebook when it's shared, for instance, from lead pages, and you have to scrape it again. So even that step is in there, like all the little detailed steps. So it doesn't matter who comes into your business as an assistant to do that. Those steps are there and it's done.
And it's being initially, I would say, because I'm very far more system oriented now as I'm running my business and I'm growing and everything.
Aren't we all?
But as a new business person and being more of a creative, the whole idea of having all these systems made my head hurt.
Yes.
And I've laughed at myself so many times because once we figured out whatever the process was that worked for me, it made everything so much easier. And I think I shared a couple of weeks ago on a Facebook Live too. Like I have an email campaign template that I use for pretty much everything. And it makes it so much easier because I know what I'm going to write about for X series of emails every single time, even though on the front end of what people see, it looks totally different. And that's the really cool piece of having it. So even creating the system like the first time can seem like it's going to take forever. Hey, Grace, how are you? It seems like it's going to take forever potentially, but the second and the third and the fourth time, it's just like snap, 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 you're all done. You're like, yay! Even
like you can create a content calendar like 3, 6, 12 months out in advance, and then just focus that month on that topic. And it makes things easier because like, oh, that's all I have to write about this week, this month, or even for 2 weeks or whatever. It makes a difference. And it is hard.
It takes all the thinking and the guesswork.
Yeah, it's hard. It takes time to set up and it's hard, but it's worth it. The rewards are worth it. So.
Oh yeah, because it's so much about like saving time in the back end. And then the other thing I talk to my clients about is being in their zone of genius, where it's really not feeling like you have to do everything yourself and allowing people like you who specialize in this to step in and be in your zone of genius and create the support so that they can go do the stuff that they're supposed to do and make more money. And that's really, I know it can seem like it's an investment, it costs money, blah blah blah. Maybe you're not at that place where you're quite ready to hire a VA or have support for something, but I've always done it early and it's always paid off. Because the time that I'm spending doing something, you usually can do in like half the time.
That's when I talk to people, they're like, oh, it took me 2 hours just to do this one thing. And I'm like, oh, wow, that would have taken me 15 minutes. So like say, just to use an easy number, this is, VAs range in price from $10 to $150 or more. But so say you have $100, it takes me 15 minutes to do something that costs $25. Say you're a coach and you charge $150 for an hour and it took you 2 hours, you just lost $300. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but because your time is worth more than probably your VA's. So
either way, I just look at it as like, how much money could I be making in X amount of time potentially if I do it versus, Katie is my assistant, an operations goddess. So if she does it, and she does things super fast, just as you do. Right. So what are some of the other things people should be looking for when they want to hire somebody to support them? What type of questions might they want to ask, or what other things can they start offloading?
So one of the things I learned in my business, because, I have this whole, let me just help everybody and save everybody attitude. Like I would hire people and I'm like, okay, I can get them up to speed. I can teach them how to do that. And that takes too much time. So you want to, my one VA that I still have that still works for me, she had a figure it out attitude. So I would say, can you do this? And I might have to guide her a little bit, and I don't have a problem hopping on a Zoom call and recording it and saying, this is how I do this. So she'll go back and watch it. That'll take me 15 minutes. And then she'll take that Zoom call, she'll write out the steps for me, and then she knows how to do it. And I've had her do that, and I've had a college student do that for me too. So the college student lives up the street, as a matter of fact. So, but so I knew her, and but so don't think that, oh, I can hire my friend and she'll figure it out, because that you'll get frustrated and it'll take too much time. So So find somebody that, when I hire a VA, I always ask for referrals and I call the referrals. And I said, and I've gotten the one VA I hired who's actually local too. Like, she's really good, but they said she asks a lot of questions. And she does ask a lot of questions and she's good at what she does. But sometimes the questions, like, it would frustrate me a little bit because I'd say, well, I already, this is how I did it, but I already told you this and you're asking me something that I already told you. So when somebody told me that when I called up the references, I was like, I paid attention. So, so just pay attention, like call more than one reference.
Right.
And that way,
Right.
So get somebody that knows a little bit what they're doing. Absolutely, they're going to learn while they're working with you. Like maybe there's tips that you've learned that they don't know yet, and that's fine. So, but don't try to teach somebody how to post a blog on WordPress. It's not that hard. However,
no, they have to know that.
Yeah, that's a basic VA skill. And the other thing I would suggest, like I have a project manager that I'm working with right now who is phenomenal, but I found her through an agency. There are people out there that will help you match to a VA, and you'll get an affordable VA who's good, who's already been vetted. I didn't call the references, and I can put, I'd have to go back and look for it, but I can put her name in the comments after the video. But I didn't have to call her references because she was already vetted. And she's been phenomenal. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome.
There's like,
I would think too that, like, at least for me, having somebody who's familiar with this, like some of the software you're using, is much easier than having them just figure it out, because, and I know you're familiar with practically everything. So, because then you can just step in really easily and it's seamless, as opposed to having that lag time of figuring it out and where's the stuff and
right.
What's this, or
So
any number of other things.
Like Aweber, for instance, like I've been through all of them except Infusionsoft, but Aweber, for instance, which is very powerfully email marketing system. And they have so many ins and outs, but they have this fantastic customer service. They their customer service is beyond phenomenal, and they're in Chalfont. They're local. I've been to their headquarters many times. So, like if you're looking for somebody, like one of the questions you can ask is, if you don't know how to do something, how are you going to figure it out? Like what would your next steps be? And, like their answer to that question is really important, because if they say, I would just get stuck and not do it, like they're not going to say that, but some people will just get stuck and not move forward because they're like, I don't know how to do this. And then next thing you know, 3 or 4 days have gone by and it's not done. So just paying attention to their answer for there, but also asking them like how they do learn. So there's, if you go on to, there's a glare on my glasses, and if I turn them up, it's not as bad. So, but if you ask them how they learn, there's like YouTube, if they watch YouTube videos, or there's like big marketers will give a free webinar, and you can learn, like Amy Porterfield, for instance. When I was first starting, I watched a lot of her videos, and she'll give you like that 1 or 2 pieces of like really great information on how to increase your marketing skills. So if somebody's learning that way, or if they've purchased courses, or if they're part of a community, like I'm part of Chris Ducker's Upreneur community, so I'm always learning in there. Just those questions help if the VA's going to be reliable. So,
which is huge, because particularly as you're having them support you more and more,
right.
You have to have that kind of that communication and whatnot, so that everything's kind of tied together, because it's so easy to forget stuff.
It is.
So how often do you meet with your clients?
Usually like once a week. It varies from client to client. My one client that I've been with for 4 or 5 years, we just text. So, and I mean, we call like every couple of weeks or anything, but we've perfected our communication system. I mean, I had to text her last week and yell at her, and I'm yelling at you now. And like I texted her and I'm like, I need this, this, and this. And she's like, I'm on it today, But my other clients, like,
that's so fun.
Yeah, we have a team meeting. Like she had other people on her team. She has other people on her team. So we meet once a week rather. So we make sure everybody's on the same page and discuss what's going on for the week.
Okay, great.
So a couple of clients do that, but just to make sure that not for nothing that I'm doing what you want me to do, number one, and that you're doing what I want you to do, like what I expect you to do, to make sure we're both on the same page. I think it's important. I meet with
Right.
my VA once a week. So I think it's once every
Okay.
other week now, but because I started to have a conflict at that time. But
I think it's super important just to have the communication, regardless of how it happens.
right.
So everybody's on the same page, and sometimes a little over communication is better than under.
Mm-hmm. And one thing, I mean, I'll just comment on this too. Like, I use a project management system. I use Asana, and that works for me, but it's because I like tech. And I'm like, okay, this is a list everywhere. I can do it as a board. I can do it as a list, whatever. But a lot of my clients are like, and like creatives like you, and they're like, I just don't want to learn another system.
Yeah, I don't like Asana.
Right. And whether it's Asana or Trello or whatever, but
right.
An Excel spreadsheet, like if I provide an Excel spreadsheet that says, like I do that now for product launches, because I heard that when you're listening to your clients, I heard that from 2 or 3 different clients, just give me a list, just give me a list. So from Asana, I can download into an Excel spreadsheet, and then there's the list.
Yeah.
And I'll go in and edit it and say, here's your list, here's the due date, you know, et cetera. So for like product launches, that's what they do. And then they can go in and look at Asana if they want, but they don't have to. So, but then that keeps us on track. And even
I think, well, just having the project management piece is super important.
It is.
And for me, having like writing out the tasks and assigning dates and all of that stuff is great, but then having somebody else manage it is really efficient for us.
Right.
We use FreeCamp, but Asana, I know lots of people love Asana.
I haven't heard of FreeCamp before.
It's just a preference. Yeah.
I'll look it up now.
So what's your favorite part of doing the product launches and being a virtual assistant?
Every time I get a new client, it's a different industry, and I love learning about their industry and listening to what like they're talking about and what their passion is. So then when I go to so you have to listen to what their potential client, like what their words are. So like creating the sales page, like sales pages can be pretty long, and like just creating that. I have a couple of templates, but getting a little bit creative with how I set up that template for them and their industry. So that's
right.
fun.
So it reflects.
And then
that's awesome.
The end goal, like when you're launching and you get the open cart, like everything works, like all the different pieces. If you're using different tools to get from point A to point B, and how they all work, and when my one client said, for instance, when like after she launched an online course, and she used affiliates, so it sold really well, because this is the first time she launched. And after she taught the first night, she's like, I feel like this was what I was meant to do. And just the smile on her face, it was amazing. So, and
that's awesome. Yay.
And she's helping, like she had like 15, 20 people in the class, so she was helping people, and that's what made her happy. So, but
sweet.
Yeah. So
I love it. Well, share with everybody where they can reach out to you or with you. Hey, Marie, how are you? And your contact info, and I'll ask you again to post it in the comments.
I will.
But where's the best place to find
my
you?
My website is DeniceWhiteley.com. It's Denice with a C, and it's the color white, LEY.com. I'll post it in the comments. On there, I have a free offer. Like that's the first thing you'll see is to sign up, and you can sign up for my mailing list there. I will post another one in there because I'm doing the product launch list, like a plan, like a repeatable plan for the product launch. So I'll post that in there also. And it's just Denice at DeniceWhiteley.com. Feel free to send me an email, and if you want to book a time to speak, just to bounce ideas off of each other, that's fine too. Just let me know. So
awesome. Yes, see you soon, Marie. And thank you, Denice. It's so awesome. I really appreciate that, because I think even if somebody's not ready to hire, start talking about it. One, because that's what's going to make it real, but two, so you can get a feel for what you want and who is right for you, because what you think and what other people offer can be a little bit different, and you may get ideas of like, oh, this is what I really need, even though I was thinking I needed X, Y, and Z over here. Right. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Thank you so much for sharing your I was going to say expensive, extreme knowledge and much valued, because people should be working in their zone of genius.
Yes.
and investing, as I said, I think this is the biggest investment that anybody can make is getting support.
Absolutely.
So it really, it's saving money.
Well, thanks for having me. I
Huge.
really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. No
It was
worries.
fun.
So, and we will see you soon. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Figure out how to get out of